YouTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I want to talk to you about the books that I got for my birthday and the things that I got as gifts from friends and the books that I've accumulated and a few other bookish themed goodies, including this jumper. You can't really see it here. It says the book was better. I love this sweater. It's so soft, it's so comfortable. I love the colour, and my lovely mother-in-law got it for me, so she's got good taste. So I'm really loving this. I don't want to take it off, it's so cozy. Also, I went bookish shopping today and I bought this. It's not expensive, it was from Primark in London, and oh my god, I'm in love with it. It's this little Harry Potter bag. Look, I don't know if you can see it all here. It's got the snitch and it's got the crest, and it's just so lovely, and it is the perfect size. It's got a little clasp there and it's got a handle in there that you can attach, and it is the perfect size for a night out. So I'm really looking forward to using that over Christmas for Christmas parties and things. I just think it's a really cute bag, and it was only £12, so yeah, really lovely, and I was really pleased to find this. The other thing that I have treated myself to is this scratch bucket list of 100 books. This is the adult one. They do loads. They do films, books, games, activities, all sorts of things, and there is a children's one, but I wanted to pick up the adult one. I'm going to get it out. I haven't got it out yet, but I'm going to get it out, flatten it for a bit, and then I'm going to scratch off the ones I've already read, and next year maybe I will try and complete as many of these as I can to get the 100 scratched off, so I can then frame it and put it on my wall. The very lovely Tracy from Flamingo Reads is a really good friend of mine, and she got me some lovely books for my birthday, and she couldn't have picked better ones off my wish list. She really did a wonderful job. She picked The Royal Art of Poison, Fatal Cosmetics, Deadly Medicines and Murder Most Foul by Eleanor Herman. I heard about this on Olive's channel, I think, and it just sounds brilliant. I love the cover, and I just think it sounds right up my alley, finding out about poisons that have, you know, involved royal families for centuries, and, you know, all these different things that they've had to have, you know, tasters of their food, and yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. Probably talking about, maybe it was arsenic, I think they used to put on their faces and things like that. So it says The Royal Art of Poison is a hugely entertaining work of popular history that traces the use of poisons as a political and cosmetic tool in the royal courts of Europe from the Middle Ages to the Kremlin today. She also very kindly got me a book called The Con Artist, live at Comic-Con, July 19th to 22nd. Meet the author, Fred Van Lent. I think it's Fred Van Lent. It just sounds awesome. It's about a comic book artist, Mike Mason, at San Diego Comic-Con. He's turned up, sort of, he's hoping to have this sort of romance, and then he becomes the prime suspect in a murder. And it's not just any murder. It says his romantic rival is found murdered. I just think this sounds really comical and a bit sort of tongue-in-cheek, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes. This one, just, it's intriguing me. It is called Oligarchy by Scarlett Thomas. Now, from what I can gather, this is about a sort of Russian, like a rich Russian's daughter that goes to this sort of quite elite boarding school, and there's all sorts of things going on, eating disorders and angst and horse riding, and if you're picked to go and do these special lessons with the headmaster, which she is, there's sort of that going on, and I think it disappears, one of the girls disappears, and there's a mystery, and it just sounds dark and intriguing, and it's quite a short one, so I'm hoping it manages to really make the story work in such a small amount of pages. Okay, so my lovely father-in-law picked me up a couple of books. He picked me Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian, which looks really cute. I've seen this one a lot about, and I think it shall probably be on my shelf until the summer, but we'll wait and see. It's about a girl who works in a sundae shop, like a sprinkles sundae shop, and I think it's going to be a bit of a contemporary romance. He also got me this book, which I heard about watching Ellen's channel, Ellen DeGeneres, and I saw Julie Andrews on there, and I just thought it sounded really intriguing. I don't know much about Julie Andrews' life, but she's worked obviously in Hollywood for quite a long time now, and it's called Homework, a memoir of my Hollywood years, Julie Andrews, and she wrote it, I think, alongside her daughter, and yeah, it's just one that I want to find out more about. I think Julie Andrews is sort of an iconic figure in film, and and I just really like to find out more about her life. So I've just been out book shopping with the lovely Tracy from Flamingo Reads, and actually I came back with just 4 books, which is really good for me. I didn't pick up as many as I thought. I picked up this one because I've seen it somewhere recently in a list of books, or recommended in a list, and I just think it sounds really like a worthwhile read. It's called Text Me When You Get Home, and it's by Kayleen Schaefer. It says here, the evolution and triumph of modern female friendship. So in this, the author is sort of reclaiming that idea of female friendship. We're often told, aren't we, that, you know, girls can be really bitchy and friendships are false and our friendships aren't sort of pure, I suppose. And this is where the author has interviewed over 100 people, and talking about things like BFFs, soulmates, girl gangs, queens, and tracing this cultural shift through the lens of pop culture. And I just think it's going to be a really brilliant non-fiction to read sometime next year. Another non-fiction book that actually both myself and Tracy picked up is Unicorn by Amru Al-Kadi. Caddy, I think, and we picked this up in the bookshop Gay is the Word, and I just love that bookshop. There's always some really interesting books in there, and this just sounds like such an important read. It's the author's a memoir, and it's talking about growing up in a strict Iraqi Muslim household, realising that they were different, at 10 announcing that they were in love with Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, realising that they might be gay, and then how they went from this through an obsession, it says, with marine biology, and how fluid aquatic life was, understanding their non-binary gender identity, this scholarship at Eton. I mean, there's loads going on, and then this sort of transformative power of drag while at university. So there is so much in here. It says a memoir of a Muslim drag queen, and I just think it's going to be really poignant, really moving, really important, and really important especially, you know, to those people that can see themselves in this person's life and in Amru's story. So I can't wait to read this and tell you more about it. The next 2 books that I picked up are fiction. The first one is #Murder Trending by Gretchen McNeil. This has been on my radar for quite a while. I just hadn't sort of seen it to pick it up, and I picked it up in the end in the British Library of all places, in their bookshop. And this just sounds really intriguing to me. It's about this this sort of app where people are killed live on sort of live social media TV. People vote, a bit like the X Factor or you know, Pop Idol and things like that, and Strictly, to vote people to be murdered. And it's about our main character in this, who has sort of been dumped into this situation but hasn't committed the crime that they are saying, because the people that are murdered are, you know, are killed on this app game weird thing, are meant to, you know, are criminals. However, she isn't a criminal, and it's looking at how she can sort of save herself, I suppose. And then the other one is it's a real leap of faith for me, because it sounds weird, but I have heard so many people, too many people to ignore, give this 5 stars. And so I've picked up Dig by A.S. King. Now, I haven't read any A.S. King before, so this is a real starting point for me, but I've just not seen anybody talk about this badly. You know, it seems to be a book that everyone is loving, no matter what their sort of general genre is normally. I just have no idea what this is about, if I'm honest. And even the back confuses me a bit. I mean, it says it's exploring how toxic culture of polite, affluent white supremacy tears a family apart, and how one determined generation has a shot at digging its way out. And maybe that's all I want to know until I go into this. There is a series starting really soon that Pierre Ford has been directing, I think, and acting in, and it is an adaptation of J. Kristoff's series. And so my daughter bought me books 2 and 3 because she liked the front covers for my birthday, and so I treated myself to book 1 so that I can actually read the series, and I really want to read this trilogy. There's Nevernight, God's Grave, and Dark Dawn. I think I tried Nevernight briefly, maybe a chapter or 2 when it first came out, and I wasn't sure it was for me, but I really want to give this another go. And seeing as she has very kindly gifted me these for my birthday, it's about time I do. And I've also got them on audio, so I can read them along with listening, so I can't wait to get to these. They just sound really good. I'd like to get to them soon so I can watch this series that's coming out, but you know, December might not be, I might not be able to, but we'll see. I'll try my best. And it's about Mia Corvair, and I think she becomes an assassin, and I don't really want to read too much more, but I know that everyone loves these. Also, because she is the best daughter ever, she gifted me 2 other books. She got me Saving Fable by Scott Reintgen, which says Tale Spinners, so I think this must be the start of a series. The blurb for this says, Indira has been a character in waiting in her entire life, so when she's finally chosen to travel to a Fable, she jumps at the chance to study at the renowned protagonist preparatory. But Indira's dream of becoming a hero don't exactly go as planned. A failed audition lands her in the school's side character track. Indira starts classes determined to prove her advisors wrong, training under famous characters like Alice from Wonderland and Professor Darcy, but even her best efforts are being sabotaged. As the danger spreads, Indira discovers all of Fable is under siege by an evil antagonist. With her friends Maxie and Phoenix, she pieces together who's behind the dark magic, but can a side character really save the day? Oh, it just sounds brilliant. A book about books, and yes please. And the other one she bought me is called This Was Our Pact by Ryan Andrews, and this is a graphic novel, and it looks beautiful in these sort of blue tones. And this is about the night of the annual autumn equinox festival. The town gathers to float paper lanterns down the river. Legend has it that after drifting out of sight, they'll soar off to the Milky Way and turn into brilliant stars. But could that actually be true? This year, Ben and his classmates are determined to find out where those lanterns really go, and to ensure success on their mission, they've made a pact with 2 simple rules. No one turns for home, no one looks back. The plan is to follow the river on their bikes for as long as it takes to learn the truth. But it isn't long before the pact is broken by all except for Ben, and much to Ben's disappointment, Nathaniel, the one kid who doesn't seem to fit in. Together, Nathaniel and Ben will travel further than anyone has ever gone, down a winding road full of magic, wonder, and unexpected friendship. And a talking bear. I mean, yes please. And I'm still going. My lovely friend Janet from Swirly Girly Reads, who hasn't posted much recently, but I'm hoping that she will post again soon. Please, Janet. But I talk to you regularly anyway. She gifted me some books. She gave me some money to buy some books and to treat myself, and oh, I love her so much. So these are what I bought. I bought myself a book called The Grace Year by Kim Leggett. This is one I heard about more recently. It's about these girls, and they have this magic, and at 16 they have this sort of weird magic, and they're sent off into the wilderness for a year till they can sort of get rid of all this magic because it's deemed as dangerous to society. So it gives me this idea of like what's it called, Rama Springer, where I think, is it Mormons that go off for a year and do this year away from sort of where they live, and then they come back. Anyway, it gives me that sort of idea and that sort of vibe, and I just think it sounds interesting and magical and a bit different. I had this book on my wish list for such a long time, and I can't remember where I read about it now. Someone read it and really enjoyed it. It's called The Diary of a Teenage Girl, an account in words and pictures. It says it's now a major motion picture, so I'll have to check that out, by Phoebe Glockner. This just sounds like it's going to be an interesting read. I won't show you that page because there was boobs on it. So this page gives you an idea of the sort of pictures going through it. It says on the back, the most honest depiction of sexuality in a long, long time, as a meditation on adolescence. It picks up a literary ball that has been only fitfully carried after Salinger, and that was by Michael Martin from nerve.com. And yeah, so I want to read this one and see what I think. So another one I bought with that money is this one. Now this has got a bit of a funny story actually. We went to Centre Parks recently, and on the last day, Matilda and Jamie always go swimming, and once we've packed our bags, and I normally just sit in the coffee shop and read for about 2 hours. It is amazing. And I did that this time, and I wasn't reading this time, I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race, but the lady next to me was guffawing out loud. She was there with her baby who was asleep in a pram, and she just kept laughing, like not obnoxiously, but just really laughing to herself. And I was just like, oh my god, why is she laughing? And I looked, and it was from this book she was reading. So I very sort of covertly had a look to see what the book was, and then I got it for myself. And it's called The Pile of Stuff at the Bottom of the Stairs by Christina Hopkinson. Oh my god, it just sounds so much fun. It says, Mary Gilmore is struggling to cope. Her job is part-time, but housework is full-time, leaving no time at all for her 2 young sons, let alone herself. For Mary, there is only one thing standing between her and a life of organised contentment, her husband Joel. Since star charts worked wonders improving their children's behaviour, she commits her unknowing husband to the same fate. A spreadsheet detailing every dirty tissue, every lost sock, every wet towel on the bed. Joel has 6 months to prove his good behaviour outweighs the bad, or else. And I just think that sounds brilliant, and maybe one that me and my husband should read. Okay, let's take a very brief interlude for some more amazing gifts that I was given for my birthday. The first was from one of my teachers who bought me this beautiful bookmark from a craft fair. It's all completely hand stitched, and I just think it is really beautiful, and I can't wait to put it in a book. And then my lovely friend at work got me this beautiful notebook. It has amazing sort of gold foiling on, and this beautiful sort of bird design, and it has lovely lined pages and a gold spine, and I just couldn't be more thankful. Okay, we're down to the last few. The next one I picked up with the money that lovely Janet gave me. She was very generous, and was Eat Up by Ruby Tando. I've heard quite a lot of people read this recently, and I wasn't sure, but I've heard someone review it and I thought, yes please. It says, Eat Up is about food, but not about calories and vitamins, making sourdough from scratch or cutting down on dairy. It's about the buttery crunch of a plate of Marmite toast. It's about the sharp fizz of a can of ice cold pop. It's about the sheer joy, pleasure and meaning that can be found in food in every single day. Because food really matters. From breast milk to prison meals, KFC to mum's chicken roast, what we eat is part of who we are, offering practical advice, recipes, heart-filling pep talks and wisdom from the likes of Nora Ephron and Gemma from Towie. Eat Up is a radical manifesto that will make you laugh, think and fall back in love with food. Well, I don't need help falling back in love with food, but yes, it will certainly be an interesting read. The next one, I just had to have. It's called Maude, and it's a novel inspired by the life of L.M. Montgomery. It's by Melanie J. Fishbone. I think again, Olive seems to be my go-to person for amazing book recommendations. I'm sure you all follow her, so you don't need my prompt to go over and check her out, but if you don't, do. Her channel's called A Book Olive, but she talked about this one, and I just think I'd love to know more about L.M. Montgomery's life. If you don't know, then L.M. Montgomery wrote Anne of Green Gables, and yeah, just sounds like you know, right up my street. I love these sort of stories, whether they're fictionalized or real life, about authors' lives, especially those that lived such a long time ago and created such iconic books. The next one I picked up when I was out with Tracy, and oh, I'm going to read you the blurb for this. I know it's really annoying sometimes when people read the blurb rather than sort of trying to read it themselves and summarise it for you, but this one, oh, it's called A Tale of Magic by Chris Colfer, and I just happened to see it in the bookshop. Let me do a little bit of a undressing for you here. Oh, look at that naked hardback. It's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And the story, oh, it says, in a world where magic is outlawed, Bristol Evergreen's life is about to change forever. When Bristol stumbles across a secret section of the library, tick, she discovers a book that introduces her to a world beyond her imagination and learns the impossible. She's a fairy capable of magic. Tick. But in the oppressive Southern Kingdom, women are forbidden from reading and magic is outlawed, so Bristol is swiftly convicted of her crimes and sent to the miserable Bootstrap Correctional Facility. Tick. But with the help of the mysterious Madam Weatherby, Bristol is whisked away and enrolled in an academy of magic. Tick, tick, tick. Adventure comes with a price, however, and when Madam Weatherby is called away to attend an important problem, she doesn't return. Do Bristol and her classmates have what it takes to stop a sinister plot that risks the fate of the world and magic forever? Fall in love with an all-new series from Chris Colfer. So this is #1 in a new series, and I just can't wait. It sounds awesome. 2 more to go. The first one is a romance, and this is The Guy on the Right by Kate Stewart. I saw this on Ainsley. I want to say that her name's Ainsley. That's horrible. Why don't I know her name? I'm going to link her channel down below. She does amazing videos all the time, and definitely if you're looking for recommendations on contemporary romance and romance books and sort of steamy romance, she is your go-to girl. So I will definitely link her down below. But this just sounds like it's going to be maybe one for the summer. I think it's about this sort of one girl and two guys fighting over her, but I just think it sounds fun, and maybe set in college. I always love those ones. And then the final book is one that I'm taking a bit of a risk on because thrillers aren't always my thing, but this one seems to be getting good reviews left, right and centre, and it's The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. So it's about a woman. She writes in this diary, and then one night she shoots her husband 5 times in the head, and then doesn't speak again. And then it's also about this forensic psychotherapist who is trying to treat her, and who becomes obsessed with investigating her crime and trying to find out the truth of what's happened. As I say, this just gets great ratings everywhere. So a mammoth amount of books. I don't mind. It's always good to have lots of books to choose from, and it will certainly help me with my TBR and my reading next year. I think I'm on track to read about 200 books this year, so that is awesome, and I've got some really nice plans for next year. Chilled but planned, because I do like a good plan. So I'll be coming to you with that soon. But for now, I am off to read all these books. Bye for now, BookTube.